Hey there, I'm ARTFX and you're watching another tutorial video. Today we're going to be doing some pretty techy neurofunk kind of arpeggiated rhythms, and it's going to sound a little bit something like this. I prepared something. I've got a patch right here and I've got some MIDI notes, and yeah, I'm just going to show you how it sounds. It sounds like this. So that's what it sounds like. Before we're gonna start, I want to tell you, if you want to be part of my Discord community, check out the invite link in the description below this video. If you want to join, it's a place where we talk about music production. It's where you can ask for feedback, where you can yeah, just have fun, you know. That's where we hang out and talk about music production. There's a lot of people that make drum and bass, but there's also people that make other genres in there. I don't really mind if you make other genres than drum and bass. I'm open to everything. Plus, we've got a lot of interesting, cool people there right now that, well, are pretty open-minded as well. So it will be great to see you guys there. Now, for this patch, I've got an arpeggiator here that I can turn off. I initially started making this patch with an arpeggiator on the track, but I figured out it wasn't really needed, and I get a little bit more freedom if I can actually write the notes myself. So I'm gonna switch to the different view so that you can guys see properly what we're gonna do, and yeah, we're gonna get started. So let me initialize the patch first. So this is the patch. I'm gonna initialize that just so that we have a blank slate to work from. This is the MIDI clip. I'm not going to rewrite the notes, I'm just going to show you the notes that I've got right here. So this is in the key of G Phrygian. Now that's a mode in the key of G. So I've got G, 1 G an octave above, then I got a G sharp, then I've got another G, another octave above that, and then we've got another G sharp. That is a really characteristic thing of the Phrygian mode, is that first interval is a 1 semitone interval, and then I finished off with 2 short runs on the end. Both of the runs start at A sharp, which is also part of the G Phrygian mode. It's actually the minor third, and the first one will run up towards a D sharp, and the second one is also going to start on A sharp, so it's also going to start on that minor third, but this one is going to go down, so it's going to end up 2 semitones below the root note. So both of those actually work pretty well and lead you perfectly fine into the next part. With just the default patch in Serum, it now sounds like this. And let me check if I have, yeah, the sidechain compressor is off, so that's cool. I've also got some drums right here that we're not using at the moment, but they sound like this. So I'll show you how it sounds with some drums later on. Now, for the patch, it's actually pretty simple. We're going to start with a saw wave, and I'm going to give this a good amount of voices. Let's do 7. So that already gives it a nice sound, right? Now I'm gonna layer it with another oscillator, and this time I'm gonna use one that, well, you can use any one basically. I think there's a Foreman saw in here as well. Let's see. I think there is somewhere. I think there is somewhere. I'm not sure though, but if there isn't, you can grab the massive wavetables and import them into Serum. That's what I've done here. And I actually have, let's see, where is it? The Foreman saw. Yeah. So here we have a Foreman saw. Now I'm going to bring this up a bit. I'm going to probably go for something around this. I'm going to give this a few more voices as well. Let's do 6. So that already gives us a nice tone. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to run both of these oscillators through a bandpass filter. So this bandpass filter, I think I'm going to use the bandpass 12. And I'll put it pretty low, so that's what we want to do first. Now I want to create a little shape in the LFO, and I'm going to set this to a 1/8 note. Then I'll set it to envelope, so it only plays once, and we're going to connect it to the cutoff position. Now I'm going to bring that amount down to about somewhere just above 50%. I can shape this a little bit to get a different tone. Now the most important thing is that I don't do this. It sounds kind of good already, but that has it makes a really sharp attack, and I want to have a little bit of a fade on the start, so I'm just going to drag this in a little bit. So that sounds pretty cool. Now I'm gonna bring the let's bring the fat up all the way, so that really makes the sub bass a little bit louder. Sounds pretty cool. And then I'm gonna take the drive and I'm gonna bring it up quite a lot as well. So that already sounds interesting. Now what I'm gonna do now, I want to add a little bit of FM to this. So I'm gonna take FM from A on the second oscillator. I'm gonna bring it up quite a bit. Now in here, let's do a little bit of distortion. I'm gonna use the diode 2, which is pretty heavy distortion, but bear in mind we're gonna work with it. Let's set this to pre, so we're gonna use the filter here, and I think I will use the high pass. And let's attach this LFO to it as well. And I'm gonna take the mix down a bit, so we get more of that, and then I'm gonna take the same LFO and attach to the mix as well, so we can actually we get more of the sub bass on the bottom of this LFO shape, but we get more of the distorted sound when it's up at the top. So the first part of the plucky arpeggiated thing is a little bit more distorted. So I think that sounds pretty cool. Now, we can add maybe a little bit of the multiband compressor. Now that will really squash the sound quite heavily. So what I'll usually do is bring the release time up. And I can bring the mix down a bit. And let's bring the gain up a bit as well. So that's starting to sound interesting. Now, you can add a little bit of the chorus. Sometimes it can sound nice. I think it sounds nice with the chorus. You can add flanger or phaser to taste if you want. Sometimes it can be nice on the build-up section of a track, just to make this arpeggiator a little bit different and give it some more modulation. Easy to do in Serum. You just take the phaser and let's set it to a rate of 8 bars. And now when I just blend this in a little bit, you'll be able to hear that phaser sound. So you can get that interesting tone, especially during a build-up, that can work. I'm not going to do it right now, but you can do it if you want. Now, we have the basic arpeggiator right now, but to make it really into something that we could use in a track, we might want to set up a macro control to kind of make this work in build-ups as well. Now, what I would do is take this, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take macro number 1, and I'm going to assign it to the cutoff position here, so that we can open up this filter a bit. Now, I think I already have a piece where I'm using that macro control. Yeah, see? So let me loop this section. So you can hear it sounds pretty interesting already, but it's not really doing too much yet. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this macro knob and I'm going to assign it to more things than just this cutoff position. First thing, I'm going to assign it to the resonance here, and I'm going to bring it down so that when it goes up, we get less resonance, because there's a little bit of a popping sound going on, especially here in the end. And now it's mostly gone. It's still there a little bit, but that's not really a problem. I can change this if I want. That sounds pretty cool as well. I can take the LFO and assign it maybe to this cutoff position, just to get a even more different tone. So that sounds cool. Now, for the other things that we might want to do, let's take, on the FX tab, I'm gonna put a filter on the end, and I'm gonna turn that into a low pass, or I'm gonna turn it into a high pass 18. High pass 18. I'm gonna bring this all the way down. I'm gonna take my macro knob, and I'm gonna assign it to this cutoff knob, and I'm gonna bring it up quite a bit. So you can hear what it's doing right now. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. And now after the filter, I'm going to put a reverb. And this reverb, the mix is going to be all the way down. And I'm not really going to do much to the reverb to begin with. I might bring up the decay time just a little bit, but I think it's pretty good already. And I'm going to take this macro knob, and I'm going to assign it to the mix. And I'm going to bring that up, well, to about halfway, I think, actually. So about 50%. And I'm going to go into the matrix. And right here I can see the macro one connected to the verb wet. So that's the knob we just did. And I'm going to take this box right here. I'm just going to slide it down a little bit so that we get a little bit of a curved shape. Now what this means is that when this macro knob starts turning, it's going to bring the wet or the mix of the reverb up, not in a straight line, but it's going to start a little bit slower, and it's going to move up faster and faster now. And that's pretty cool. So that's helpful, because then when this macro knob starts going up, we first start to hear the filter opening up, and then on the end suddenly the reverb starts coming up as well. And that is kind of like what I wanted. So that's probably going to make it a little bit cleaner as well. Now let's see how this sounds with the reverb. So I think this sounds pretty good. You can add some more effects. You can say maybe add a little bit of white noise. Just take some bright white noise, bring the level all the way down, and just take that macro knob and just bring it up slightly so that on the end when the reverb comes up, there's also a little bit of noise coming up. And you can do the same thing with the noise level here. Just bend that down a bit so that it doesn't come up immediately. Stuff like that is really powerful, but now you simply have a cool patch, and this is all where, yeah, I don't know, it just sounds great. Maybe add a little bit of drive here on the high pass filter. So I think that sounds pretty good. Now, let me turn on the sidechain compressor here. And I'm also going to turn on this EQ, which is basically going to remove some of the sub-frequencies and some of the low mids, so that I can show you how this sounds with some drums. Now, imagine in a build-up section, where or let's say we're going to do it with some regular drums first. So these are some drum and bass drums. So that works pretty well. We can put it in a build-up section, and then is where we would use the macro knob, which we created. So you can see I have the automation going on here. It doesn't even go up all the way. I could probably make it go up all the way if I want. But yeah, now it starts to sound like... So, you can hear on the faster part here, it sounds a little bit weird. What I probably would do is take the notes right here and just start repeating them, because the drums start repeating here as well. So I would probably just do something like this, and then do the same thing again, but do that. And now it would probably sound a little bit better. So you can kind of make it work. I probably, if I would use this in a build-up, I would probably start filtering this out with a low-pass filter as well, so that pretty much starts fading out, because we have a high-pass filter coming up, and then I would use a low-pass filter on top to start fading it out, and at the same time probably use some rises that are building up as well in pitch, so that you kind of like replace this one arpeggiated layer with the rises that are coming up, and that would make it much easier to transition into a drop that comes afterwards as well. Because usually when you have like a really melodic element, something like this arpeggiator, it can sound a little bit weird if you then go straight into a really heavy drop. So that's a little bit of an interesting video. I hope you like this. I hope you like the sound, and I hope you learned something actually. I've been doing a lot of serum stuff lately. I've really been trying to make some more interesting patches. I've been working on a new serum pack as well, which I hope to have done as soon as possible. But you know, guys, I'm also working on the new music, so it's all going well. I'm doing a lot of stuff at the same time. Now, if you want to be part of my Discord community, don't forget to check out the invite link in the description below this video. And other than that, I hope to see you soon in another tutorial video. Peace.